If you think a pressure washer can remove absolutely anything, today's experiment might completely change your mind. I found what might be the toughest stain I've ever tested, and by the end of this challenge, either the stain disappears forever, or the pressure washer loses. I honestly wasn't prepared for what happened. Welcome back to Cleaning Battle Lab, where everyday cleaning methods compete head-to-head until only one champion remains. Today's opponent isn't just any mess. It's the toughest stain I've faced so far, and the pressure washer has one job: erase it completely. Before we start, take your guess. Does the pressure washer win, or does the stain survive? Lock in your answer, because once we begin, there's no going back. The test surface is a clean concrete paving stone, so every change is easy to see. I carefully apply the stain across the center, making sure it's thick, even, and fully bonded to the surface. This isn't just a light spill. It's dense, dark, and stubborn. To make the experiment fair, I allow the stain to sit long enough to settle naturally. No shortcuts, no tricks, just enough time for it to become a serious challenge. Now for the challenger. The pressure washer is loaded with clean water and set to a consistent spray pattern. Every pass will be made from the same distance, at the same speed, so the results stay as fair as possible. Round 1 begins. The first blast hits the stain with incredible force. Water explodes across the surface, sending dirt and tiny particles flying everywhere. For a second, it looks like the stain is disappearing. But as the water settles, most of it is still there. That is not the start I expected. The pressure washer clearly removed loose grime around the edges, but the darkest part of the stain barely changed. Already this battle is becoming much closer than I thought. Round 2. This time I slow the movement of the spray, giving the water more time to attack one section before moving across the surface. The pressure stream pounds the stain again and again. Small pieces begin breaking away. Tiny clean spots appear. But the center remains surprisingly dark. The pressure washer is making progress, just not nearly as much as expected. At this point, I honestly have no idea who's going to win. If you're enjoying these cleaning battles, hit the like button and subscribe, because every experiment helps us find out what really works instead of relying on internet myths. Now it's time to increase the pressure. Instead of sweeping across the stain, I focus directly on the darkest section. The water impacts one tiny area continuously. The spray creates an incredible cloud of mist. For several seconds, the stain disappears beneath the water. When the mist clears, something surprising happens. That single section is noticeably cleaner. The pressure washer has finally found a weakness, but only a very small one. The rest of the stain still refuses to give up. That's impressive. Most stains would already be gone by now. This one seems determined to survive. Round 4. I approach from another angle. Sometimes changing the direction of the spray can expose weak points that weren't visible before. The water slams into the surface. Another section begins fatting. The edges grow lighter. The center starts shrinking. For the first time, it feels like momentum is shifting. Maybe the pressure washer is finally taking control. Or maybe the stain is simply saving its strongest defense for last. There's only one way to find out. Round 5. Maximum patience. Maximum consistency. No rushing. Every inch receives equal treatment. Slowly, very slowly, the stain becomes smaller. The clean concrete grows larger. The battle is becoming incredibly close. At this stage, the difference between winning and losing is only a few stubborn patches. The pressure washer keeps attacking. The stain keeps resisting. Neither side is giving up. This is exactly why I love these experiments. You never really know what's going to happen until the final moments. With only a few dark areas remaining, I decide to make one final series of passes. No changing equipment. No chemicals. Just water. If the pressure washer can remove what's left now, it deserves the championship. The spray returns. The remaining stain takes another direct hit. Water races across the concrete. Mist fills the air. Seconds feel much longer than they actually are. Finally, the water stops. Everything becomes still. The surface begins drying. At first glance, it looks perfectly clean. But then, as more water drains away, a faint outline starts appearing. The stain isn't completely gone. It's much smaller than before, much lighter than before, but it's still there. That tiny shadow changes everything. The pressure washer won most of the battle. It removed the overwhelming majority of the stain without using any chemicals. But the stain refused to surrender completely. Instead of a total knockout, we witnessed something much more interesting. A hard-fought battle where neither side achieved absolute victory. The pressure washer proved incredibly powerful. The stain proved unbelievably stubborn. And that unexpected ending is exactly why controlled experiments matter. Sometimes the strongest tool isn't enough to completely erase the toughest challenge. Sometimes the stain earns respect simply by surviving. Now here's the twist. If this stain managed to survive one of the most powerful cleaning tools most people use around the house, what happens if we intentionally create an even stronger stain? Not by accident, on purpose. Can a stain become so stubborn that it breaks every cleaning expectation? That's exactly what we're testing next. In the next episode, I'm creating what could become the strongest stain we've ever featured in Cleaning Battle Lab. Different layers, more time to bond, more opportunities to become nearly impossible to remove. And once it's ready, we'll see whether any cleaning method stands a chance. If you don't want to miss that experiment, subscribe now because the next battle might completely rewrite everything we've learned so far. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Cleaning Battle Lab experiment.